Committee on Parent and Community Engagement of the Board of School Directors will please come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Director O'Halloran?
Here.
Director Seamson?
Present.
Director Zombor?
Present.
And Chair Leonard.
Present.
That's 4 members present.
The Chair will now ask the Secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so, and asks that those who do not wish to participate please remain silent during the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this meeting is being conducted from the Central Services Building in order to allow as much public access and participation as possible. This meeting is also being broadcast via live stream on the MPS website and on MPS YouTube stream, the links to which may be found on the MPS website on the broadcast page. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
A la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799. Nuevamente, 312-626-6799. E introduzca el número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
For each of our items of business, we will hold a discussion and public hearing. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker slip and bring it to our Secretary, Ms. Koala. Virtual speakers are asked to remain on the platform until you are called upon. After speaking, virtual speakers may follow the rest of the meeting using the broadcast information previously mentioned. When you are called upon to speak, please state your name and spell your last name for the record. For the sake of fairness and to give everyone a chance to speak, the Chair reserves the right to limit the length of time allowed to any one speaker. Written testimony will be accepted for transmittal to the Board. Send this testimony to the Office of Board Governance, P.O. Box 2181, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53201-2181, or fax to 414-475-8071, or email to the governance@milwaukee.k12.wi.us. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order dictates that all comments should be directed to the chair of the committee. Also, any questions or requests, including those from the public, committee members, or the administration, are to be directed toward the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. For the safety of all and to ensure the good order of the meeting, harassment or intimidation tactics of any kind will not be tolerated. Anyone who engages in such harassing or intimidating words or actions will immediately be asked to cease. If such behavior continues, a recess will be called and the offending parties will be removed from the meeting. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. However, the individual will not be allowed to rejoin the meeting. Also, no one other than the members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board and its committees. Finally, for our listening audience, if you wish to access this evening's agenda items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the meetings, agendas, and minutes page of the MPS website. Now let's begin, Madam Secretary. Item 1.
Item 1 is a report with possible action on Milwaukee Public Schools Department of Recreation and Community Services. This is an informational item. Although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Go ahead.
Chair Leonard, may I have just one point of privilege real quick, please?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Some community members have asked about an agenda item that sometimes comes on this meeting's agenda, and I was just hoping that we could address the update with possible action on enhancing educational communities in school climate. I recognize it's not on the agenda, so I'm not asking for a presentation tonight, but just wanted to verbalize that it would be nice to have a report brought back to the committee or the full board or in July, if possible, please.
Administration?
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, we'll be happy to get that ready for you, and we can present that in July or August at your discretion.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, would the administration present the first item that was on the agenda? Thank you.
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Eduardo Galvan, Acting Superintendent. This evening, I have Thomas Shawley Malone and Mr. Brian Litzy from the Department of Recreation, and they will share a report on the recreation programs that took place during the second semester. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer after that.
Thank you, Mr. Gavot. Chair Leonard, fellow directors, Brian Litzy, Manager of Operations, Department of Recreation and Community Service. Thank you for allowing myself and my colleague, Thomas Shawley Malone, the opportunity to share with you our youth sports programs and also share with you a brief video recapping our winter and spring programs. As always, we strive to align ourselves with the 5 priorities of success, as well as align our services with the strategic plan. Our programs are driven by our mission, vision, and values. Our recreation programs are made up of 5 major components: after-school programs, citywide programs, elementary and high school sports, playgrounds and community centers, and recreation operations. As I mentioned briefly, today we will focus on our elementary and middle school sports. And my colleague, Mr. Thomas Shawley Malone, will give a brief overview of our programs.
As Brian said, I will give a brief overview of our youth sports, school-based youth. Chairman Leonard, fellow chair members, my name is Thomas Shawley Malone. I'm the youth sports manager for Milwaukee Recreation. So I'll give a brief overview of our school-based youth sports leagues that took place this season, or this school year. So for the fall, we had 237 fall teams. This was up from previous years, especially after COVID. During the fall season, we offer middle school cross country, elementary flag football, elementary and middle school girls basketball, co-ed soccer for elementary, and co-ed volleyball for elementary. For the winter time, we had 454 winter teams this school year. In the winter, we offer boys and co-ed basketball for middle school and elementary, co-ed and girls volleyball for elementary and middle school, co-ed cheerleading for elementary and middle school, and co-ed indoor soccer for elementary and middle school. And then finally, for the spring, we had 242 spring teams, school-based teams, and we offer elementary and middle school girls soccer, co-ed and girls soccer, co-ed softball, elementary and middle school, t-ball for elementary and then middle school, track and field, and tennis. Also, during the school year, we had a few special events at the youth sports level for elementary and middle school. The first that takes place in November was our middle school girls basketball tournament. We had 13 teams participate. Our Congress middle school girls team actually won the tournament, and it took place at South Division High School. The next event that we had in the winter for our winter season was our cheer showcase. This also took place at South Division High School. This year we had 14 teams with 8 teams on the wait list. So this is obviously an event that we are looking to expand next year to have more teams involved. The next event was our middle school citywide volleyball tournament. We had 38 teams participate this year. That was about 14 more teams than last year. Morris Middle School was the eventual champion. And again, we're looking to expand if possible and get more schools involved next year. And then the final winter special event we had was our March of Champions tournament. We had 72 teams participate, 3 division levels, 4th and 5th grade, 6th grade, and then 6th and 7th grade, and then 6th through 8th grade divisions. This year, we had our Final Four and championship games at MSOE. They were nice enough to let us host our games there, so it gave the kids a nice college experience for that championship and Final Four games. And then the last event that usually takes place in the fall is our Ultimate Sports Day. This year will be our third year. Last year we had 13 different sports, so we had organizations from out the city come and run different stations for the kids to kind of get that first experience with different sports they may be interested in or eventually play once they get to school level. We had 244 registrations. We're looking to expand this again this year, this fall. Now that WIC's down, we're kind of looking for a new location and a different variation of how we can run this event to make it still successful. All right, so now some challenges and opportunities within the youth sports realm here at Milwaukee Recreation and MPS. Some of the challenges we have are facility space and facility updates. Aside from our high school facilities, most of our middle school and elementary facilities are not competition ready, which means a lot of people can't fit in the gym. So we're hoping maybe that some of our facilities can be updated so that we can offer more sports throughout the school year. Part-time staffing, we're always looking to grow our staffing pool. We're reaching out to high schools and different high school students to come work for our activities, whether they're officials, event monitors, just to get them work experience while they're still in high school and giving back to the younger kids within the district. Growing officiating and coaching pools, again, working with schools, working with different organizations around the city to get more qualified coaches and officials working at our games. Practice space for schools, this is a big one. A lot of our schools just have blacktop in their outside area. So we're working with schools to find different parks around their area that they can permit and practice, have practice space throughout the school year. And then student transportation. This is a big obstacle for a lot for games and practices. We do have a few schools that use their budget to reserve buses for Saturdays and take their kids to different league locations, just so that the parents don't always have to drive the kids and they get to the games on time. Again, some of the opportunities looking forward, maybe trying to encourage schools to offer one sport per season. We noticed that when students become involved in sports, especially at the elementary and middle school level, they tend to come to school more. They tend to be more, pay more attention in class, and focus more on the education. Another opportunity is growth of high school student workers. We're working now with a few different departments to get some of those juniors and seniors job opportunities on Saturdays when we offer those employment opportunities. School allocations for equipment and uniforms. As you can see on this picture, during COVID, we did purchase various schools' uniforms so that they did look nice on Saturdays during their games. A lot of students are excited about wearing the new uniforms. In the past, we did. Not all schools had matching uniforms and things of that nature, so the little things really help out. And then greater synergy between elementary and middle school and high school athletics, so that kids at the elementary and middle school level know what to expect once they get to that high school level and begin to participate in sports. And then on the horizon, just a few things that we're currently looking at is online student registration for youth sports. We currently use our school for high school athletics, so this is something that we're looking into for the youth sports, just so that it makes it easier for school parents to register. They know what sports offerings are being offered at their school, and it just helps out a little bit to get more kids involved. New sport league opportunities. We have middle school boys volleyball, middle school golf, middle school kickball, and elementary tennis. Another one I would like to include is girls flag football is something that we're also looking into. Development of school-based sports guidebook. So right now we have a handbook that's more comprehensive to everything that we do within our sports league, but we want to create more of a guidebook that can help parents and schools get those sports up and running at the schools at a faster pace. Partnership with local sports organizations to host coaching and athlete development development clinics. Again, we're also working with high school coaches to kind of get summer development skill clinics and camps up and going so that our elementary and middle school athletes have things to do in the summer. Strengthen relationship between youth sports and, again, high school athletics so that we're all on the same page.
Next, we'd like to share with you a brief video of our winter and spring highlights.
Like a private lesson.
Once again, thank you for allowing the time for us to share with you the many wonderful things Milwaukee Recreation is doing for the students and the entire community of Milwaukee.
Do committee members wish to make comments or ask any questions? Director Simpson.
Yeah, thank you very much for that presentation. You know, we talk a lot about educating the whole child, so I'm going to focus on the sports and especially at the elementary level, and that's kind of their first opportunity really to become part of a team, you know, experience what that feels like to, you know, build their confidence over the course of that block that they're on that team and participate. It gives them that opportunity to build new skills, become proud of themselves. So it's really such a great thing to be added on to their school day. So I just, you know, just as a board, I think to uplift that and support it as best we can. And in addition, those extra experiences, the winter events that they have at Hawthorne Glen, all those special things are such wonderful family opportunities to get involved and see a different part of their community and just do something fun as a family. And one of the biggest things is just that this is all so affordable and it's all in our community. It's close by. You're not driving a long ways to get there. So this is just such a critical piece of the umbrella of MPS. So I just want to thank you for the work you're doing in the presentation.
Thank you.
Anyone else have comments or questions?
Thank you, Chair Leonard. I do have a bunch of questions. I'll try to keep them brief. I will say, yes, thank you so much for offering sports through school. Both of my children play soccer outside of their school, but this is the first year that both of them additionally are playing with their schools, and it has just been a really great way for our students to connect. In some ways, I think a lot of young children are spending time on screens in their bedrooms, and that's maybe just based on a personal observation, but I love to see them connecting outside of the classroom and outside of the home in, really positive ways. So thank you for that. I think there was some confusion. One person had sent us some questions in particular that seemed more directly connected to the school-based athletics program. I know we have the Milwaukee Recreation updates frequently, so some of these questions might need to be directed otherwise. But in general, would it be possible to have a discussion about athletics specifically in general? Because some of the questions are like, why would you have an assistant principal as an AD? And like, I don't think that's Milwaukee Recreation's question necessarily. So would administration be able to bring an item to either this committee or another committee at some point that would address maybe some of those more high school-based questions?
Administration?
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, we'd be happy to do so. And there is a distinction, right? There are athletics that take place at the high schools and even at our schools, and then there are things that are run through the rec, and they're both of immense value. So we'd be happy to do that, and we'll connect on when you would like that to be presented.
Okay, thank you. Can I keep going, please?
You can. You can keep
Thank you. So one of the challenges that you noted was about growing the officiating and the coaching pools. So I know, and you said that you were possibly reaching out to high school students that are junior and seniors. Just from personal experience, I think at 13, students or children can be certified through the Youth Soccer Association in Wisconsin to start officiating, and they learn all of the rules, and they are compensated quite well. But I would just say that as a soccer parent of a young person who officiates, I don't know how to get my son connected with Milwaukee Rec to sign up for those officiating. So can you speak a little bit about how, if somebody were interested in becoming an official through Milwaukee Recreation, how would they do that?
Director Halloran, members of the committee. So any interested high school students or adults interested in employment with the U Sports office can just contact the U Sports office at usports@mkrec.net. You can visit our office down in 163 and just ask for any member of the U Sports team, and we can walk them through an online application. All of our applications are posted online on our website as well.
Okay, thank you. May I please keep going?
Keep going.
Thank you. So another challenge that's noted is the practice space for schools and the facility space. So one of my constituents is a soccer coach at Burdick, and had some difficulties with space issues. I know there are multiple groups using some of those same spaces like at Saigon. Do you have a plan for how we are going to work out or make the spaces a little smoother for the coaches? It may seem like something very nitpicky, but like soccer goals were locked up and then the kids couldn't use them, and it kind of became a back and forth. And so I was wondering if you have any like actual plans to beyond noting that this is a challenge, and I concede that it is a challenge, do you have plans to address some of these challenges?
Chair Leonard, Director O'Halloran, fellow members of the committee. So at the beginning of each season, we inform coaches and schools that if you are a school-based team within our league, that you receive a free outdoor permit to any recreation playfield that's around your school. So we ask that all schools submit an outdoor permit to us so that we can schedule the times and locations for them ahead of the season so that there is no discrepancy on who may be at that field at a given time, because a lot of times schools do just show up to a playfield just to practice, not knowing if another group has a permit. As far as the goals on the site, we tend not to use those for practices just because they are for our league play on Saturday, so we don't want them to be ruined. But any school that does reach out to our department, the youth sports office, we do find pop-up goals and any goals that we may have in our equipment storage. We do give those out to schools if they need them for practices.
One more, and then I'll be done, I promise. Just a note, I know that for my own soccer player, she was very excited about having a new uniform in her school colors. And so I appreciate that. And then I just wanted to put a plug in that it's my understanding you have a soccer clinic coming up and the run back to school. Is there anything you want to plug while you have the chance?
Chairman Leonard, fellow committee members. So if you visit the youth sports or the Milwaukee Recreation youth sports tab online, we list all of our summer clinics. And again, like you mentioned, Run Back to School is coming up as well. Any school that signs up 25 plus members for their school-based team for Run Back to School is in the running for a $1,000 grant that they can use to purchase any athletic items for their school. If they don't win the $1,000 grant, any school with 25 plus members then also who does not get the 1,000 will receive a $500 grant. Last year, a lot of schools used it for weight room equipment, athletic equipment, uniforms. So we just try to help them any way we can to get their athletic programs going.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm sorry, Director Zonber, please.
Thank you, Chair Leonard. So I want to echo what my colleague said. I have a 14-year-old in middle school, and he did flag football and track and field. And I've noticed since he started doing sports, I did notice, a difference in his engagement in school and just his overall mood. So it really, truly does make a difference. I'm wondering how we are identifying schools that maybe don't have teams or don't have a lot of teams, and how are we supporting them getting those up and running?
Chairman Leonard, Director Zombor, fellow members of the board. So we do keep track of all the schools that have participation each year. So around this time, we're kind of zeroing in on the schools that did not participate in a given school year. I think right now maybe 5 schools did not participate in sports this year. So what we do is before the school year starts or throughout the summer, we contact the principal, meet with them, help them identify a person in their school that could be their athletic director or sports coordinator for the following school year, and help them any way we can to get the sports up and running, whether it's helping them purchase equipment, uniform, something to entice their parents to come out and want to be involved in the sports for the next school year.
Thank you. Another question. Actually, would it be possible for you to send us a list of any schools that maybe don't have programs yet, just so we as board members just kind of keep an eye on it, and when we're out in schools. Another question, actually maybe more a comment. You don't have to respond, but I know like in middle school. We'll just say I have a 14-year-old that looks like a 25-year-old, and inclusive sizing for uniforms has been an issue for him. We fed him a lot of Miracle-Gro when he was a baby. So just a note that inclusive sizing for middle school is much appreciated. And then another uniform question. So, and you might not be able to tell us this yet, but I know every year. This might be proprietary information, but if you can tell us the Run Back to School t-shirt color.
Administration?
Chairman Leonard, Director Zombor, fellow members of the chair. So the general participant shirt color for this year, I believe, is lime green. Right.
Thank you.
I'd like to just hand over the gavel for a moment.
Okay. Director Leonard?
Just a couple quick questions. When is the Ultimate Sports Day this year? Do we have that figured out already?
Administration?
Chairman Leonard, fellow members of the committee, we do not have a date
Okay.
at this moment.
And just a comment with a question, I guess. I did last year at the Ultimate Sports Day, I did have a chance to talk to quite a few of the partnership stakeholders that wanted to be more involved with us. I'm just curious, status-wise, how are we doing with that? Do we have a number of those that are already going to be working with us, or where are we at with that right now?
Administration.
Chairman Leonard, fellow committee members. At the moment, most of the organizations will return for Ultimate Sports Day, and we're looking for ways to kind of incorporate them into also the school-based leagues, whether it's coaches clinics, officials clinics, partnering with them to get certain sports such as tennis and golf up and running, because a lot of the less popular sports within the district, we do need that help to get them started and kind of pick their brains on what we need to get those leagues started.
Thank you.
With that, would you like the gavel back?
I'll have the gavel back.
All right.
Madam Secretary, was there anybody from the public that wished to speak on this comment, on this topic?
Mr. Chair, we had no request to speak on this item.
Madam Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is item 2, a report with possible action on MPS alumni engagement. This is an informational item. Although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Sorry, I was in my thoughts there. Okay, would the administration please present this item?
Chair Leonard and members of the committee, Eduardo Galvan, Acting Superintendent. This evening, we have Mr. Valdez and Ms. Stone, Alumni and Student Engagement, to share the report on the MPS Alumni Partnership. If you have any questions regarding the item, we'll be happy to respond after their presentation.
Good evening, Chair Leonard and members of the committee. My name is Christy Stone, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Customer Service. And with me this evening, I have David Valdez, Alumni and Student Engagement Associate. We are pleased to have the opportunity this evening to share an update on our efforts related to alumni engagement within the district. As always, we start off by looking at our 5 priorities for success. Our work with alumni closely aligns with strengthening communication and collaboration, as well as improving district and school culture. MPS alumni are one of our most valuable assets as a district. Our former students know firsthand what it's like to walk the halls of our MPS schools and the impact that an MPS education can provide. As we look to continuously adapt to the needs of our students, families, and community stakeholders, collaborating with our alumni is essential in helping foster engagement within the district. Next, I'll turn it over to Mr. Valdez, who will talk more about our alumni engagement efforts. David?
Thank you, Director Stone. Good evening, Chair Leonard, members of the committee, and Acting Superintendent, Mr. Galvan. I'm David Valdez, Alumni and Student Engagement Associate, and today I stand before you a proud Bayview High School alumnus, home of the mighty Red Cats. I would like to first define my role as the liaison between Milwaukee Public Schools and its alumni, communicating with, connecting to, while celebrating all. The mission of Milwaukee Public Schools Alumni Association is to champion a lifelong relationship between MPS and their alumni. The MPS Alumni Association works to connect, organize, and support our former students in their professional endeavors by helping them to stay connected to their schools, classmates, and community. We connect and support our alumni by providing opportunities for them to socialize and network. Many of our high schools have school-based associations and foundations which foster pride, loyalty, and have a lifelong commitment to their alma mater and the district. These organizations encourage continued relationships among their graduates. Our overarching objective is to build a strong alumni network that supports and complements the district's broader aims through advocacy. We envision building our alumni network by strengthening our connections to alumni. We assist school-based associations with their reunions, their meet and greets, and we encourage them to volunteer and donate their services through mentoring and giving to our MPS drives. We support student success. Alumni associations play a vital role in fostering interactions and providing valuable conversations to present students. As the advisor of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, or SSAC, I often invite alumni to come to speak to the SSAC about their personal journey after high school. Most recently, I invited a young man from the Milwaukee High School of the Arts who was an aspiring singer-performer in high school. He spoke to the SSAC about how he started a music business while attending high school by playing gigs all over town. And he continued this practice throughout his college career. By doing this, he raised enough money to pay his entire college tuition at NYU, simply by doing what he loves. You can check out his entire story on the Alumni Hub, our MPS webpage under Alumni Spotlights. Having alumni share their journeys with our current students is always a spotlight, and yet another way to connect with our MPS families. What is the saying? Memories never fade, they only grow stronger with time. We also build our network by inviting partnerships to support district efforts. In 2022, we began to build a directory of alumni-owned businesses. This directory showcases our alumni business owners and allows us to highlight our alumni entrepreneurs, connecting alums to alums, and support our MPS Forever family. Currently, this directory has grown to approximately 75 businesses, and we encourage some of our restaurants, entertainers, and bars to be used for alumni events. We acknowledge personal and professional achievements. On the Alumni Hub, we celebrate our Forever family members by spotlighting alums who are giving back to their community. We also celebrate our alumni entrepreneurs, first responders, the military, and alumni faculty and staff in a category called Heroes Among Us. Our last point is being champions in the community. Showing the face of what our graduates can do is essential in changing the narrative and flipping the script about MPS students. The Alumni Hub, the Alumni Advantage newsletter, our MPS alumni Facebook page are the engines we use to promote all the good that is happening in our district and community. One would be hard-pressed not to find an MPS alum in any crowd, at any event around the city, the state, and the country. As mentioned in the previous slide, some of the communication tools that we use to spread the word, so to speak, are a dedicated MPS alumni page called the Alumni Hub, MPS Alumni Facebook page, MPS Alumni Quarterly newsletter, a connection to the MPS Foundation. The Alumni Hub houses Heroes Among Us, Alumni Spotlights, Alumni-Owned Business Directory, a connection page which allows alumni to sign up and become active members of the Alumni Forever family, and our events page, which leads us to the next slide. We currently have 19 high school alumni associations, and 3 new ones, Audubon, Reagan, and Vincent, are in various stages of establishing or getting started. On the events page on the Alumni Hub, it features our reunions, our meet and greets, business meetings, etc. Last summer, we had over 20 high school reunions. This year, we are already up to 17. Most of our reunions are for 25 years and up. Last year, we had 10 50-year reunions. Many of our school-based associations are also holding all-class reunions, barbecue cookouts for all classes. We also offer mentoring and volunteer opportunities. I work very closely with our volunteer coordinator, finding and providing opportunities for our alums to engage with schools in our district through mentoring, serving as guest speakers, or assisting with classroom activities. Often we don't have to look for alums to get involved. Most of our alums, our volunteers are alums. We do campus cleanup. Some associations try to meet with current students and clean up and spruce up the campus before the first day of school. This has been happening more frequently, and it is a welcome sight to see alumni and current students working together to enhance their high school and alma maters. There are business meetings for Washington High School, Juneau, Girls Tech, Rufus King, Hamilton, Riverside, and Vincent. They hold their business meetings through their foundations and their athletic Hall of Fames. We have a donations page link that links directly to the MPS Foundation. Lastly, we have a central office lobby display which houses, currently we're housing Rufus King alumni. Next up will be West Division High School of the Arts. And this has been one of the most popular engagements, as many visitors to central office often stop by the display just to take photos or to have conversations about their high school time. Other onlookers are curious to see all the beautiful memorabilia from within our MPS schools. Visibility is key to shifting the narrative about the more positive things happening in our schools. And lastly, our plans to grow alumni connections. We need to increase visibility to attract more alumni. I've spoken quite a bit about changing the narrative and developing opportunities to become more visible to all the alums who have fallen through the cracks. Almost every morning during the school year, I scroll through the Facebook pages of all the school-based associations, and I try to connect with their members by posting on their page and or sharing their events and stories on the alumni Facebook page. We continue to bridge the relationship with the MPS Foundation to increase alumni giving and stewardship by developing a relationship with Willie Jude and helping to connect with our alumni at social functions. We capture new high school and college graduates to maintain lifelong connections with the district. Together with the Department of Communications and Marketing, a postcard was designed to invite all high school graduates to join the Alumni Hub and to get onto our database. Any alumni who sign up on the Hub, new or old, receive an alumni pin, alumni wristbands, and an association member where they receive an alumni newsletter digitally. We increase mentorship and volunteerism. Our long-range goal is to continue to support a network of former graduates who will in turn help raise the profile of Milwaukee Public Schools. When I first started in this position a little over 5 years ago, the director asked me at the time, "David, I want you to use your imagination. If you could create a plan to enhance the overall experience for MPS alumni, what would that be?" She also informed me to think big, but expect little. After communicating with alumni each day and being one myself, my thoughts drove me to, why not create an alumni center to house valuable memorabilia and develop more visibility, camaraderie, and ownership with the alumni community. As I spoke to many of our alumni, they informed me of the losses and the damage of their old relics that serve as the foundation for their schools. Old trophies, plaques, histories are being tossed out, lost, or stored in damp and dirty basements. Schools such as Custer, now Obama, SCTE, Lincoln High School, or Girls Tech are soon to be forgotten. Maybe an alumni center or museum could bring back the heart of MPS and instill pride in all of our alumni. Thank you. This concludes our presentation for this evening. Ms. Stone and I will be here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Do committee members have any comments or ask any questions? Director O'Halloran.
Thank you for the presentation, and yeah, I'm kind of a history nerd, so when you said museum, I was like, oh, in my abundance of spare time, I'll start a museum. But that does sound really intriguing because I've had friends who were like, oh yeah, my stepfather graduated from West Division in '64. Can you get me his high school senior picture? I'm like, I don't even know where to start, So I know it is of importance to people in the community holding on to these memories. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I was just wondering, how many staff members? So as I love to say, MPS is older than the state of Wisconsin. We have had a lot of alumni come through these doors. So the task of stewarding all of these relationships amongst across the many schools, is it just yourself that is trying to get your arms around this? Do you have other staff members who are able to help with planning and implementing some of these plans?
Administration?
Chair Leonard, Well, Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Director O'Halloran, it's me.
Tall task. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that we have a baby red cat coordinating it because, you know, we have nothing but the most distinguished alumni from Bayview. So,
I mean, I do want to say that we have a team in the
Yes.
Strategic Partnerships Group that if I have any thing that I need, I reach out to them, and they're always willing and able to help with anything that we need.
yeah.
Any, Director Simpson?
Well, first, I need to jump on the Alumni Hub, get my bling that I am missing apparently. So you know, in terms of like increasing that awareness to alumni, you know, like the idea of volunteer opportunities really strikes me as a place where it kind of hits people in the heart. You know, I see that in schools where, you know, that are in my district, and you go and you see people who are returning to the school either as coaches or volunteering to read with children. So you know, you see that happening, and I'm just wondering if there's a way to increase that awareness, or if you have some ideas for how to just reach a broader audience.
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Director Simpson. We are reaching out. I'm working closely with our volunteer person, and we're trying to go into all the summer festivals and different events to promote what we do with alumni, and we're trying to get more on top of that. It is kind of tough because most of our volunteers are already alumni. It's hard to find anybody in the city who is not. So when I do reach out to them, I certainly ask them to go onto the Alumni Hub and to make sure they sign up to support their high school.
If a school has a particular need, can they reach out to, you're a busy person, but can they reach out to you to see like, hey, you know, this is our school, this is our need. Can you try to reach out to the alumni page that you run, or the Facebook page that you try to monitor to throw out those opportunities?
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Director Simpson. Yes, they can reach out to me at any time. They can email me. I post my email everywhere because I want them to reach out. And I have a great time actually talking to alums when they call me, because we have stories that go on forever. Whether they were athletes that I played against, or just any alum who is craving to find a place to go to have an event such as a reunion. I get a lot of calls about, you know, when is our 50th going to happen? It should be happening now. And I love talking to them, so they can call me, they can email me. I am very open to talking with anybody.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? No? I'm going to hand you the gavel again.
Director Leonard?
So I probably have the oldest alumni that I can think of. My father graduated from Bradley Tech, and not Bradley Tech, Boys Tech, Boys Tech. And he is 96, so I don't know what year he graduated from. We'll have to figure that out. But anyway, I need just to say that just one question, and I hope this can be answered. I know that the MPS Foundation has been talking about generating donors from our alumni, and I don't know if you're able to answer those questions or not, but I'm wondering what we're doing at that level.
Administration?
Director Leonard and members of the committee, Christy Stone, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Customer Service. So one of the things that we're doing in relations to connecting to the foundation and building alumni stewardship is connecting directly with the high school alumni associations. Typically, schools want to give back directly to their schools and not necessarily to the general fund. And so that's one of the things that we need to focus on with the foundation, is just setting up those individual accounts. So when we have things like class reunions and other events, we can just add that to say, hey, if you would like to do a donation back to your school, knowing that these funds will be used towards the students that'll, be graduating or whatever from your particular high school or elementary, they can have those accounts and know that they'll be used towards that. So that's one of the biggest things that we've been focusing on is creating those individual accounts for those schools so that those alumni can give back that way.
Do you have any follow-up?
No, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and give the gavel back.
Madam Secretary, was there anybody from the public that wished to speak?
Mr. Chair, we had no request to speak on this item.
Administration, Ms. Stone, Mr. Valdez, thank you very much. Madam Secretary, what is the next item of business?
The next item is item 3, a report with possible action on services provided to students with disabilities in the least restrictive environment, LRE. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Administration, would you please present the item?
Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Eduardo Galvan, Acting Superintendent. This evening, Dr. Travis Pinter, Senior Director of Specialized Services, and Jennifer Mims Howell will provide an overview of the LRE report as he walks us through the information attached. After that presentation, if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Chair Leonard, members of the committee, Travis Pinter, Senior Director of Specialized Services. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. The LRE, or Least Restrictive Environment data, is reported to the board twice a year. So the June report that we have today in front of you allows you to take a look at the entire school year. I'll be referencing the second page of the first attachment in my summary if you'd like to follow along. So you will note the 3 indicators associated with LRE, 5A, B, and C. The state has set a threshold for each indicator that we are aiming to surpass. In the case of 5A, it is a minimum, so we aim to be above that percentage. In the cases of 5B and C, it is a maximum threshold, so we aim to be below that percentage. In all 3 indicators, you'll note that we continue to move in the right direction when comparing May 2023 to May 2024. So we've increased 5A to above 88%, decreased 5B below 11%, and 5C to 0.14%. These numbers can move so incrementally that I always value the full year report for its capacity to provide some clarity about the trends. To get an even better sense of progress, I went back to our 2022 May report out of curiosity, and it even further demonstrates our progress in the right direction. In May of 2022, our 5A indicator was at approximately 84%. It's now at 88%. Our 5B indicator was over 15%, and it's now under 11%. And our 5C indicator was at 0.28%, and it's at 0.14%. So good growth all around. One reason for our continued growth in these areas is our emphasis on inclusion of our students with special education services alongside our regular education peers to every extent possible, including school specials in art, phy-ed, and music. The PD I spoke of last November that was dedicated to inclusion and is at least partially responsible for these gains. We also continue to experience success in our bridging units, which provide our students in special education with more time in the regular education environment with supports. Specialized Services also offers 11 different trainings in person that all emphasize inclusive practices, including early childhood SEL and literacy trainings, academic applications, behavior trainings, and autism training. In addition, we have provided several asynchronous video offerings for staff, which are accessible through the Special Ed Teacher Google site, SPED Supervisor Google site, and directly on our LMS. When you review the numbers in Indicator 5 overall, trainings such as these appear to be having an impact. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any committee members wish to make comments or ask questions? Director O'Halloran.
Thank you. And I did email earlier, and I appreciate your response to help, provide clarity around the indicators. So do you have a specific target goal that you're working for? Like if we finished the year, we started, above 11, now we're at 10.97. Do you have kind of the goals for next year lined up, or is that something that you experience 1 month and then you try to like cascade goals from there.
Administration.
Director O'Halloran, Chair Leonard, members of the committee. I wouldn't say it's a set goal so much as just making sure the progress is moving in the right direction. The one difficulty with some of them, such as now that we're up above 88%, is it seems to slow down a little bit. There's only so much gain we can make. But when I look at, when I do look at the 2-year, 4% there, it'd be great to get between 1% and 2% a year on that particular metric. The 7.9% 5B threshold that we're still above, it's been great progress getting down below 11. That's going to take more work. That one, if it were to continue to come down at that rate, we'd be real happy.
Any other committee members? Director Simpson.
Yeah, so with the idea of, trying to include more children in that regular education classrooms that they're being educated with their peers, the magic of that is that you need a great support person, working with you. And I was just wondering what our staffing needs are looking like for next year in terms of special education.
Administration.
Chair Simpson, Director Leonard, members of the committee. We have this number, because we're always hiring, may have changed a little bit, but as of a few days ago when I ran this, we still had 26 vacancies for special education teachers. We have 90 currently working, so that gives you some sense of that now. Those vacancies account for, we also have some staff filling in and doing their best and those types of things, but we'd like to get those 26 folks if possible, so to answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Madam Secretary, do we have someone that would like to speak? Yes.
Mr. Chair, we do have one speaker on the virtual platform, so we'll switch over to that really quick. And that speaker is Mr. Quentin Claybon. If you could please state your name, spell your last name, and then give your comments.
Hi, this is Quentin Claybon, Klabon. I was going to ask a question on the least restrictive environment analysis, and then ask for similar transparency on the enhancing educational communities and school climate report. But Director O'Halloran answered both. So I'll just thank the board for transparency and response to the public, given the competing priorities you have going on right now. I guess the last thing I would say is it would be awesome to squeeze in that equity report into Thursday's meeting if possible, but otherwise July works just as well. So thank you, Director O'Halloran and the committee.
That was the last speaker on the virtual platform, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, administration. Thank you for your work. Are there any other items left on the agendas?
Mr. Chair, that was the last item on this meeting's agenda. As a reminder for the listening audience, a meeting of the Committee on Legislation, Rules, and Policies will begin shortly after the adjournment of this meeting.
So this meeting is